Hey everybody. Oh boy, do we have a trade to talk about. This is absolutely massive. PK Subban has been traded by the Nashville Predators to the New Jersey Devils in exchange for defenseman Steven Santini, defenseman Jeremy Davies, and 2 second-round draft picks. And I'll tell you right off the bat, this feels like absolute robbery by the Devils here. They got PK Subban, who is one of the top defensemen. Now he's not a Norris Trophy level defenseman like he was a few years ago anymore, but he's still a very high end NHL defenseman who can bring a lot to the table both offensively and defensively. And honestly, the Devils really didn't give all that much up to get him, which just looking at this, I'm shocked they didn't get a first round pick out of the deal. They didn't get an established NHL player out of the deal. What is Nashville doing here? Like, you don't see Nashville is a very well run organization, and you do not see them end up on the wrong side of trades like this very often. But just looking at this at face value, I mean, Steve Santini is a very unproven NHL player. He played 39 games last year, but very unproven NHL guy. Jeremy Davies is just coming out of Northeastern University. He is the key to this whole deal from Nashville's perspective, and I'll talk about that in a bit. And then 2 second-round draft picks, not even a first-round draft pick. For a defenseman of the caliber of PK Subban, you don't get a first-round draft pick or a single NHL caliber proven player. That seems like an absolute steal to me for the Devils. And now, all of a sudden, the Devils, you're looking at a pretty good team here. Now you've added Jack Hughes. You have Nico Hischier. You have Taylor Hall. And now you add PK Subban. You have, a lot of young players, up-and-coming players on that team. This was a team that didn't make the playoffs last year, or this past season, but did the year before. If they can get their goaltending figured out, I mean, New Jersey could be a really good team. And they are putting some serious pieces in place here. And For Nashville, I mean, Subban did have, I believe he was making $9 million a year. That's a massive cap hit that is now off the books for Nashville, and they're really not taking any salary on. No established players' salary on yet. So this is a good, does help out the cap situation with the Predators. But the Predators are a win now team. They're a Stanley Cup now or bust team. And this seems very odd for them to give up a player of this level and only get this in return. Now, I want to talk about Jeremy Davies a bit because he played at Northeastern in Boston in college, and I got to see him play quite a bit. And he, I believe, is the key to this whole deal. If you take, Jeremy Davies out of this, obviously that's almost nothing in return for Subban. Jeremy Davies is a high-end prospect. Like, this kid was phenomenal at Northeastern. Now, just because he's a great college player certainly doesn't mean that he's going to come to the NHL and light it up as an NHL player. I think we've seen that plenty of times, even in the last few years where, think of when Jimmy Vesey came out of Harvard, how high everyone was on him, and he's turned into what? A third-line player at best at the NHL level. Ryan Donato, a little bit younger, but same thing where he lit it up in college, but then at the NHL level, it's kind of Will Butcher, another guy, a high-end defenseman in college, plays for New Jersey, comes in, and he's a solid player, and he's still a young player with a lot to improve upon. But he's a good young player, but it's not like they're coming out of college where they were great players in college and being great players at the NHL level right away. That's not really happening. So with Jeremy Davies, he's certainly not a guarantee. He is definitely not a guarantee, which is why, it's surprising to me that Nashville only took this in return for Subban. But if Jeremy Davies works out the way that I think he possibly could, given the talent level that I've seen from him in college, and I mean, he was a high-end defenseman at Northeastern. Both ends of the ice as well. Very good offensively, almost a point per game guy offensively from the back end, while also being a good defensive player and playing a ton of minutes every night. If he turns out to what I think he possibly could, then long term this will work out for Nashville because he has the potential to be a top pair NHL defenseman. And that potential is 100% there. He could be very, very good. And don't forget, the Predators also have Dante Fabro out of Boston University, who came in at the end of last year after BU's season ended. And Fabro is another high-end college prospect defenseman. And somebody who, given maybe enough time to develop in the right way to develop, then you could have Fabro and Davies on your back end there in Nashville for the next 10 to 15 years, and that could be a very, very strong footing for your defense, not to mention that the defense that they already have with Roman Josi and Ryan Ellis. And I mean, it's not like these kids have to come in and play top pair minutes right away. They're going to be, given time to develop and work on their their skill set and becoming solid NHL players, because they don't have to come in and play right away or play big minutes right away. They're going to be, Nashville's defense is already very, very strong. So this to me, though, is just a very, very interesting deal. I feel like Nashville just didn't get a lot in return for somebody at the level of PK Subban. However, I do think Jeremy Davies will play a big role long-term in how successful this deal is for Nashville, because if he turns out to be what I think he can be, then he is going to be a very, very good NHL defenseman. If he doesn't, he's just a prospect right now. If he doesn't, then this deal is a complete robbery by the New Jersey Devils, getting Subban for almost nothing. I mean, a couple second-round picks, that's really not a big deal. And then 2 young prospect defensemen. That's it. Not New Jersey didn't have to give up a single established NHL player, and they got PK Subban. That is absolutely incredible. So right now, I think this deal leans heavily, heavily in favor of New Jersey. I think long term down the road, it may things depending on how certain players turn out. Jeremy Davies. Things could shift back a little bit in Nashville's favor, but wow, massive, massive deal that just took place. And New Jersey, man, is making moves. New Jersey is making moves. This is a team that wants to be a playoff team next year and is doing everything they can to be a playoff team next year. So it's going to be really fun to watch and really, really interesting next season. And this is a massive move. So that's my opinion on that. With like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the comment section below. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. We're on our road to 1,000 subscribers, so if you'd like to help out with that, please do and hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.